Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the MCDFNL Footy Show. Just 1 week now until the biggest day of the season, which means preliminary final week, which, as we know, in many cases, the most interesting games of the season in the MCDFNL. Great to be with you once again. Shaun Kelly's my name. Joining me, as he always does, my co-host, Sam Gowers. Sammy, welcome, mate.
Thanks, mate. Glad to be here on a exciting week, I guess.
It will be an exciting week indeed. It'll be an exciting week next week as well, because we're planning something special for the grand final show. Going to do it at Princes Park next week. We're going to have representatives from the grand final teams on the show as well, so very much looking forward to that one. But before we get that, we do have a big week of action to speak about from the past week, starting with the Powell Medal Night on Monday night. And congratulations going to Navarre Ruckman Josh, folks, taking out the Powell Medal for season 2016.
Yeah, a really consistent year from Josh, and I suppose made a bit more special by the fact it's only his third or fourth year of full-time senior football. Of course, a past winner of the MCDFNL Rookie of the Year,
yes,
maybe 2 or 3 years ago, so yeah, great effort by him.
Unfortunately, Josh not there on the night. His brother Jaden trying to confuse everybody by going up and accepting the award on his behalf, although he did say to me, "Oh, Josh couldn't make it. It's fine as long as someone gets up there." He took the champagne. He wanted to wear the medal out, from what I hear as well. But a good night for Navarre, obviously, with Jess Parry winning the netball best and fairest, the Noel Tracy Trophy as well, which we speak about on the MCDFNL Netball Show. What else caught your fancy from the Bowen Medal Night? Because we know that you are a very keen purveyor of form. What found you on that night to be interesting?
I suppose just the closeness of the counts. Stephen Pye obviously just missed out on the Powell.
Lost by a vote.
The Noel Tracy Trophy count was very close as well. Just getting over the line from Matty Davis from Rovers. Yep. Who I'm sure you'll speak about on the MCDFNL Netball Show.
Very much indeed. Also, Brendan Birch from Royal Park, the reserves best and fairest motor, got the motor running nicely and held off long-time leaderboard aspirant Lloyd Bennett from Lexington, who is always in the top 2 or 3 of that count.
He is, yeah. I was actually sitting next to Birchie, and as his name kept cropping up, he wasn't actually too pleased that he was going to have to get up and accept it. A bit embarrassed, I think, the old motor. Oh,
well, there we go. That's what you get for playing good footy, Birchie. So get up and about, because that was a really good night. Over 360 people in attendance at the Maryborough Highland Society. Tony Shaw, as our guest speaker, did a very nice job. Stayed all night too. Made sure he ate every little bit of food that was coming out there, but also spoke very well too.
He certainly did. I thought old Tony's head was going to explode. He was getting that work
didn't take much of a breath, did he?
No, he didn't, but yeah, he's a very good speaker to listen to.
Yeah, he is indeed. A great night for the Powell Medal for season 2016. Thanks to the Maryborough Highland Society for helping pull everything together on the night. We might just make sure that they get a bit of an upgrade to the PA system for next year, I think. But apart from that, everything else went beautifully. Talking point number 2 as we get back to on-field action from the weekend, and Royal Park taking on Talbot in the first semi-final on Saturday, and it was bushy, as we thought, going into a preliminary final this week, probably a bit more comprehensively than we thought they would, though.
Yeah, we tipped this to be a close game, but Bushy showed that they were just that class above against Talbot on the weekend, getting over the line pretty easily in the end. Yeah,
they did indeed. Obviously, Royal Park, we thought this might be a bit closer. Obviously, they came out and said, well, hang on a second, we really need to show our superiority in this one. Got out there, played really well. From all reports, looked a class above Talbot on the day.
Yeah, it sets up a really, I suppose, intriguing prelim against Carisbrook this weekend, which we'll talk about in a minute. Navarre, sorry. Which we'll talk about in a minute.
We will indeed, because before we do that, the second semi-final is our third talking point for the week. Natty Bialaba, we were worried how they were going to rebound after what was a pretty disappointing performance in the qualifying final, but they managed to do so, and they managed to overcome Newstead quite easily in the end. 40-point win for the Swannies. How did they turn it around?
I think they just started really well. Natty started probably a little bit slow at times this year. They kept Newstead goalless or scoreless in the first quarter, kicked 2 goals of their own, 10 goals to 2 at half-time. So it was pretty much in the Swans' keeping by then.
Who was the standouts?
The standouts, probably Tom Douglas, playing in the midfield, still managed to snag 5 goals.
Who, of course, was the Maryborough Addy Lyle Eels Player of the Year as well.
He certainly was. And down back, Nathan Ross as well, doing very nice work across half-back. A bit of an unheralded player, but nice intercept marking from the old Crabman, Nathan Ross.
The Crabman, really? Crabman. Is there a story there? Or is it one that's not for public consumption?
No, he just moves like a crab.
Ah, gotcha. Very, very good. I like it when they're just nice and we can tell them on the footy show without getting ourselves A, in trouble, or B, sued. So that's really, really good. So moving on this week, preliminary finals, as we said. I haven't known in the 4 years I've been involved with the MCDFNL a preliminary final blowout weekend. They have always been really, really close and fantastic games of footy. So very much looking forward to seeing what happens this weekend in the MCDFNL. First preliminary final on Saturday at Princes Park. In the under 11.5s, it's Carisbrook versus Royal Park. The under 14.5s is Carisbrook versus Campbell's Creek. The under 17.5s is Trentham versus Newstead. The reserves is Carisbrook versus Royal Park. And the senior game, Carisbrook versus Natty Bialaba. Very interesting game. Two teams that have had some pretty close outings this year. Natty will be buoyed by that win last week, but what we saw from Carisbrook in the qualifying final was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I suppose Carisbrook have probably been the form team of the competition over the past month or so. We know they knocked off Navarre, knocked off Royal Park, heading into the finals. Natty and Carisbrook have actually played in 3 prelims since Natty joined the league back in 2011, so this will be number 4. Carisbrook's got the
1 or 3, have they? Or
no,
have they
no, 1-2. Natty pipped them by a point back
right.
in 2011. So it should be a really interesting game. Always close, these games.
We know which way you're going to swing in this one. How do you think that Natty can overcome Carisbrook on the weekend?
That's very much a case of hard overhead, because I think Carisbrook probably will win. I think they've just had their form over the last month or so has just been too good.
Yep.
Natty could upstage them. We know they've got a big spread of goal kickers. Natty, a lot of goals coming out of their midfield. Tom Douglas, Stephen Ross, Daniel Gifford. So if they can get on top early in the midfield, it will go a long way to helping them. Defensive
structure is going to be key for Natty this weekend because we know how strong Carisbrook are up forward. They've just got goal kickers galore up there. Corey Taylor's been kicking goals. Obviously, Big Nose has been kicking goals as well. Nathan Wright's in there as well. You got the smalls like Doggy Roscola that can get to the fall of the ball. If the hard hat Jackson Bowen's giving them the first tap out of the ruck and getting it to their midfielders as well. Jaden Hind, of course, in good form throughout the second half of the season. It's going to be difficult for Natty to stop them.
Certainly will be. You mentioned Corey Taylor there. Chris Jardine from Natty actually did a really good job on Corey back when they played earlier this season. Kept him to 1 goal, which was just a bit of a throw it on the boot from the boundary effort. So they do match up pretty well down there. But those smalls like Jaden Hind, Cole Roscola, Nick Wright, if he sneaks forward, make it very, very tough for Natty's defence. So
you're tipping against Natty for the first time this year?
Oh, look, I'm going to tip Natty, but wouldn't be surprised to see Carisbrook win.
Well, I'm tipping Carisbrook in this one because I think they're going very, very nicely at the moment. And yeah, they may finish 3rd on the ladder, but they have hit form at the right time of the season. I think that they'll win their way into yet another grand final. Then on Sunday, second preliminary final day, also at Princes Park. This should be a ripping day. In the under 11.5s, it's Avoca versus Campbell's Creek. The under 14s is Trentham versus Lexington. The under 17.5s is Carisbrook versus Natty Bialaba. The reserves is Lexington versus Newstead. And in the senior game, Navarre taking on Royal Park. This is going to be really good. A week ago, I would have said put the farm on Navarre for this one, but Royal Park, the way that they played last week, they got themselves back into form, they got some confidence back, they've beaten Navarre already this year. They will really take this right up to Navarre. The only problem is if Navarre can play the way they did in that preliminary final against Natty Bialaba, it's going to make it very, very difficult for Royal Park.
Yeah, it'll be a toss of the coin job. I think this one, Shaun, are probably going to lean towards Navarre, just like you said, because of that form they had in that early final against Natty. But I'm sure Bushy will take it right up to them. Navarre will be keen to atone for when Bushy snapped that winning streak they had, left them on 50 games, 1 win shy of the Victorian record.
A couple of interesting and I suppose a little bit contrasting styles as well. Both teams do like to move the footy, but Navarre are all about run and spread and overlap and really moving it with pace, whereas Royal Parker can get measured in their approach. They do like to use the short options, keep control of the ball until they find the loose man and then get it up forward. You've got Josh Brown at one end, who's kicked 76 goals this year. You've got Cody Driscoll at the other end, who's kicked 73 goals this year. So could be a shootout on Sunday afternoon as well. Really, really good game. You're tipping Navarre?
I'm going to tip Navarre. I think they've just been here and done this too many times.
I think I'm going to tip Navarre as well. For that reason, they know what it's like to be at the preliminary final stage. Royal Park, this is brand new territory for them. It's the first time they've been past the second week of the finals in a long, long time, and they'll give themselves a really good showing. And look, it would not surprise me to see Royal Park win this game, and I reckon it'd be fantastic if they did. But you just feel that Navarre, they've done it before, time and time again, and they want to put themselves in that frame to win their 4th consecutive premiership. I think they can do it. but we'll find out on Sunday afternoon.
Should be a really, really interesting matchup.
Should be a really interesting weekend of football throughout the MCDFNL. Thank you for joining us this week. Thank you, Sam Gowers, for joining us.
Thanks, mate. Glad to be here.
Very much looking forward to our grand final special next week at Princes Park. Make sure you get around that later on next week as well. We'll have all of the information about the grand final. The most comprehensive preview going around, it's pretty fair to say.
Of course.
Absolutely, of course. Probably trumps anything that you write in the Addy.
Oh, I'm not sure about that.
We'll still buy the Addy anyway on next Friday because it's going to be ripping. There's no doubt about that.
It will be chock full.
Chock full of MCDFNL footy. Thank you for joining us once again, folks, here on the MCDFNL Footy Show. We'll see you next week.